2B. Listening. 1. Pre-listening. Before you listen. A. Discuss. Would you like to spend a month? Would you like to make 1 month of your life passes traveling in a foreign country that is not your home country? Why if you say yes, and why not if you say no? Well, I'd love to. Why? That would help broaden my mind. That would help me learn new things, increase my experience and knowledge. What kind of problems can occur, can happen during long journeys by car, long trips if you go traveling by car? What problems can happen, can occur? Well, a lot of things can happen, like having a flat tire. This is the tire of the car, and it's got flattened. We call it flat tire. Your car could break down, stop working, and God forbids, the worst is getting into a car crash. So a lot of things can happen, like a flat tire, or even more serious mechanical problems, like when your car breaks down, run out of petrol, out of gas, and no gas station in the vicinity, nearby, no places to stop and rest. 2. Listening. A. Listen to the following dialogue between two friends talking in a cafe, and answer the question below. Choose A, B, or C. Saad tells Faisal about. What's he telling him about? A. How terrible his holiday was. He's telling him that his holiday was very bad. Frightening experience with a happy ending. He's been through something scary, but at the end, he was happy. Or maybe how he and his friend were rescued. They were saved. Before you listen, when answering questions that refer to gist, that are related to gist essence of speech, don't focus, don't only concentrate on details, on the specifics. No, you should pay more attention to the general idea behind the listening, behind the speech. Try to understand the general meaning of what is being said, the dialogue as a whole. Because in here, you will not talk about the details, no. The whole dialogue, what was it about? B. Listen again and write T for true or F for false. 1. Saad went to Riyadh without Salman. 2. Faisal doesn't know what graffiti rock is. 3. They started their trip up the mountain when the sun rose. Rose is the past of rise. When the sun shows up in the world, that is sunrise. 4. Before getting to Graffiti Rock, the boys had to leave their car because the engine would not start. This is the car's engine. 5. Muhammad carried Saad. When you carry someone, you lift him up and you move with him. He carried him down the mountain because he wasn't able to walk. 6. Saad was injured, was hurt badly, and had to return home. Now, listen to the recording.
So sad. I'm dying to hear all about your trip to Riyadh. How was it?
It was full of excitement, that's for sure.
Was it just you and Mohammed? Or did his brother Salman join you?
No, just the two of us.
I see. So, what was it like? Is rock climbing very difficult?
No, not really. Of course, I almost ended up in hospital.
What? What happened?
Well, as you know, it was my first rock climbing trip. It had always been my dream to go to the Graffiti Rock. It's a rocky mountain in the middle of the desert, some 110 kilometres from Riyadh, which has got some amazing old carvings on it.
Yes, I know. It's beautiful. I saw a documentary about it on TV.
Well, we started our journey early, at about 4 o'clock in the morning, because we wanted to avoid the blazing sun. So there we were in a jeep, passing by rocks and camels and Bedouins.
Sounds exciting. So then what?
Eventually, we reached a point where we had to leave the jeep, and so we started hiking.
And?
Well, it was very steep. But after the climb, we finally saw the carvings. They were unbelievable. It's hard to imagine they were made more than 2,000 years ago.
Yes. And those people carved some animals, like ostriches, which might mean that the area was not always a desert. But what was the problem?
It was on our way down. Although Mohammed was very helpful and gave me tips on how to keep safe, at some point I slipped and fell headfirst down the rock.
Oh no, that's terrible. What happened next?
Well, I hurt my foot so I couldn't walk. But I had also hurt my head and I was out for about 20 minutes. Mohammed had to carry me down the steep rock and into the jeep so that we could drive back to the city.
Oh no, that must have been hard on Mohammed.
Well, it gets worse. For some reason the jeep wouldn't start. And mind you, by that time it had got really hot. We needed to get out of there.
I can't believe it.
I know. Eventually, some tourists came along and helped us get the jeep started so we could get back.
Were you very badly hurt?
No, not really. I just had to rest for a couple of days before going back home.
Well, it's a good thing Mohammed was with you.
That's right. He saved my life.
Now listen. Go ahead and choose the correct answers. Do not continue this video unless you have already chosen and you want to check, okay? Now read with me. So, Saad, I am dying to hear all about your trip. I am really excited. I am really excited to know what happened with you in your trip to Riyadh. How was it? Tell me about it. It was full of excitement, very exciting. That's for sure. Was it just you and Muhammad, or did his brother Salman join you, come with you? No, just the two of us. I see, I understand. So Salman didn't come. So, what was it like? Tell me about it. Is rock climbing very difficult? B is silent, not climbing. No, climbing. This is rock climbing. Is it difficult? No, not really. Of course, I almost ended up in a hospital. I nearly had to go to a hospital in the end. I didn't go. I nearly had to go. What? What happened? Well, as you know, it was my first rock climbing trip. This is the first time I'm doing this. It had always been my dream to go to the Graffiti Rock. It's a rocky mountain in the middle of the desert. Desert is a place that is full of sand. Some 110 kilometers from Riyadh. Some means around, almost 110 kilometers from Riyadh, which has got some amazing old carvings on it. These are carvings on the Graffiti Rock. What you see in the picture is the Graffiti Rock near Riyadh, and you can see carvings on it. Yes, I know, it's beautiful. I saw a documentary about it on TV. Well, we started our journey early at about 4 o'clock in the morning because we wanted to steer clear of the blazing sun, the very hot sun in the desert. That's why we went early in the morning. So, there we were in a jeep, in an SUV, in a car, passing by rocks and camels and Bedouins, people who live in the desert. Sounds exciting. That seems really good. So, then what? eventually, in the end, we reached a point, we got to a place where we had to leave the Jeep. We couldn't be in the car anymore, we had to walk. And so we started hiking, going on foot. And, okay, what happened? Well, it was very steep. The angle was very high, very difficult to walk. But after the climb, we finally saw the carvings. These carvings, we saw them. They were unbelievable, hard to believe. They were great. It's hard to imagine, to picture it in the head. They were made more than 2,000 years ago. These carvings on the graffiti rock were made 2,000 years in the past. Yes, and those people carved some animals, like ostriches. This bird is called ostrich. We saw carvings of ostriches, which might mean that the area wasn't always a desert. Maybe there was an oasis or something. But what was the problem? It was on our way down. After we finished, when we were going down, something bad happened. Although, in spite of the fact that Muhammad was very helpful and gave me tips on how to keep safe, at some point while I was going down, I slipped. I lost balance and fell head first. My head was the first thing to hit the ground, down the rock. Ooh, that's bad. Oh no, that's terrible. What happened next? Well, I hurt my foot, so I couldn't walk, but I had also hurt my head, and I was out. Out where? He was unconscious. I was out means I was unconscious for about 20 minutes. Muhammad had to carry me. He had no other choice. He lifted me, picked me up, and he carried me down the steep rock and into the Jeep so that we could drive back to the city. Oh no, that must have been hard. That was surely hard on Muhammad. Well, it gets worse. Wait till you hear the rest of what happened. For some reason, the Jeep wouldn't start. The engine wouldn't start. And mind you means what is even worse. By that time it had got really hot. Maybe it was noon and the sun was blazing. We needed to get out of there. I can't believe it. I know. Eventually, some tourists are people who travel for fun, came along and helped us get the Jeep started so we could get back. Were you very badly hurt? Was your injury serious? No, not really. I just had to rest for a couple of days. Couple means 2. I had to rest for 2 days before going back home. Well, it's a good thing Muhammad was with you. That's right, he saved my life. Okay, what were Saad and Faisal talking about? How terrible his holiday was? Well, think about it. His holiday wasn't really terrible. He enjoyed rock climbing and he enjoyed looking at those carvings. A is not appropriate. C, how he and his friend were rescued. Only he was rescued. His friend was the rescuer. So C is also inaccurate. B is the most appropriate choice. Frightening experience with a happy ending. Because actually some tourists helped them get the engine started. Now write T for true or F for false. Saad went to Riyadh without Salman. Yes, Salman didn't go. Faisal doesn't know what graffiti rock is. No, he knows what it is. He actually saw a documentary about it on TV. They started their trip up the mountain when the sun rose. Yes, they went early in the morning to avoid the blazing sun. 4. Before getting to Graffiti Rock, the boys had to leave their car because the engine would not start. No, at first they had to leave the car because the terrain. The area was not suitable for a car to move on. They had to go on foot. Muhammad carried Saad down the mountain because he wasn't able to walk. Yes, he was injured. Saad was injured badly and had to return home. Well, yes, he was injured, but not badly. He said that he wasn't injured badly and he rested for a couple of days before he went back home. So it's false. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please share it with friends. I'll see you again next time, inshallah. Goodbye.